Hello, welcome back. We are here today comparing and graphing integers. So remember, integers are all of my natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, zeros included, and it's all the opposite of those natural numbers. So -1, -2, -3. Those are going to be my integers. So it says writing number sets in order from least to greatest. So that's the same as increasing order. Smallest to largest, least to greatest, increasing order. Those all mean the same thing. Well, if I look at these numbers, I have -3, 0, 5, the absolute value of -6, and then -6. So what should I do first? You should get rid of absolute value signs. Well, how do you do that? You can't just get rid of them. You can't just take them away. To get rid of them, you have to find the absolute value. So maybe I should change this. Oh, I need a bigger eraser. Yeah, let's get that big one. To find the absolute value of your numbers. Find the absolute value of your numbers. So what's the absolute value of -6? Remember, absolute value measures the distance from 0. Well, the distance from 0 that -6 is really 6 units. So I'm going to replace that absolute value of -6 to +6 because the absolute value of -6 is 6 units from 0. Well, now, what's my smallest number? I'm writing from least to greatest. So if I look through these numbers, -6 is my smallest. Then I have -3. Then 0, then 5, then the absolute value of -6 or +6. If I wanted to graph these on a number line, and I put 0 in the center, so I had 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I had -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. Sorry, that's super messy. We are trying our hardest today, but it's been a rough time. So -6, you got a dot right there. -3, 0, 5, 6. So right now, I just wrote in least to greatest that set of numbers in increasing order, and I graphed them. Let's take a look at these examples. It says write the numbers in increasing order. That's small to large. So if I do my number line, well, 0 is going to be in the center. That doesn't look like a 0. That looks like a different number. That looks like a 6. Miss Sawyer, why are you making messy numbers? 0. So in relation to 0, where's -7? Well, -7's out here on the left-hand side. So -7's done. 0's done. Well, then -0.001, that's super close to 0. Well, then you have the absolute value of -8. What's the absolute value of -8? How many units away from 0 is -8? Well, it's 8 units, so that becomes +8. And +8 is way out here on the right-hand side. What's the absolute value of negative 0.2? Well, negative 0.2 is 0.2 units from 0, so the distance is actually positive. Oh, not 0.2, just positive 0.2. So if I do that on my number line, it's right there next to 0. So that's all this is wanting you to do. Well, this one says write the numbers in decreasing order. If increasing is small to big, decreasing is what? Big to small. So before I do anything, let's fix these absolute values. Let's take care of them. The absolute value of negative 14 is positive 14. The absolute value of negative 53 is positive 53. So if we go to make our number line, well, I have 54, 49, 14, negative 13, and 53. The smallest one of those is this negative 49. So if I'm out here in the negative 40s, where's negative 13 going to be? We can say that's going to be over here. I'm going to put 0 just as a placeholder. It's not in my list, but it's always a good idea to put 0 on your number line, just so you know where the negatives are, where the positives are. Well, then I have positive 14. I'm going to do that just a little bit further to the right than negative 13 is to the left of 0. Make sure your scale on these is pretty good. Don't, have too big of spaces or too tiny of spaces. Well, then I have 53 and 54. These are going to be super close together out there on the right. And that's all you have to do. Graph them and put an increasing to decreasing order, so your final answer could even be all in a nice set of parentheses. Like that. So sometimes we're going to have to compare and graph integers, but we're only going to be given words. So we talked before about how to use words to go from words to symbols, how to use those word phrases to express your ideas using mathematical symbols. So what are some words that mean addition? If I'm thinking about describing a number, well, if I'm adding, that's addition. What about, I know we got a bunch of football players and sports fans in this class. If you have a positive number of yards, you could say you gained yards. So if you gain a number, what about if you're 5 feet above? Isn't above positive? Or means to add? What about you deposit money in the bank? You're adding money to your bank account. What about if I think about a number line? What number's the positive direction? If I move to the right, what else? On your paper you can write a couple more if you think of more. We have to add, to gain, go above, deposit, move to the right. Let's think of some words that mean subtraction. So we could take away. We could gain yards. We could lose yards or a loss of yards. If I'm going above, going below is negative. If you deposit something in the bank, You can also withdraw money from your bank account. That means you take money out. On the number line, if I move to the left, that's subtraction. So if you think of more, write them down, but let's do some examples. So these directions say, write an integer to describe each phrase. Every integer must have a sign, meaning it needs a plus or a minus with it. So if I take 5 steps forward, that would be positive 5. I'm going forward 5 steps. I'm moving to the right on my number line. So that would be plus 5. A loss of $20. You lose $20. That would be minus 20. Lost $20, you're going negative into your bank account or negative into what you had in your wallet. What about 40 feet below sea level? If you're swimming and you go down, that would be negative 40. Here we go, to lose 5 pounds. That says to lose 5 pounds. Oopsies. Miss Sawyer had a typo. To lose 5 pounds, that would be to decrease by 5. Well, 6 units to the left of 0, if I think about my number line, 0, the left is over here. So 6 units to the left would be to take away 6 or to decrease by 6. So always think, does this word mean a negative or a positive change? Think about what kind of change is happening. Are you going forward or are you going backward? So flip your paper over and work on some of these examples.